Good afternoon everyone. Starting off, I'm not entirely convinced anyone of us has the sufficient insight into cosmic awareness that we'll really need to understand some of the upcoming lectures. Therefore, we're going to need to open our minds a little more, and shove some more eyeballs in there. To this end, this time we'll be going over the Madman's knowledge and Great One's wisdom from Bloodborne. Functionally, the Madman's knowledge and Great One's wisdom are all but identical, with each appearing as a human skull which has been split open along its cranium, allowing whatever cosmic understanding that may be contained within to spill out. The only real difference between the two is the degree of insight each contains, with Great One's wisdom granting twice as much as Madman's knowledge. Allowing a user to gain so-called insight, Madman's knowledge and Great One's wisdom appear to facilitate a degree of communion with the Great Ones, allowing a portion of the Eldritch truth to be stolen away from them. This is supported by the fact that the substance spilling from the cracked skulls appears to be phantasms, slug-like invertebrates that are said to be augurs of the Great Ones, creatures that are able to burrow through space and time to connect with the higher cosmic beings. In this way they may be much like the augur of Abritus, but whereas that creature appears to be highly corporeal, allowing a physical part of the Great One to manifest through a portal of sorts, the phantasms of the Madman's knowledge and Great One's wisdom seem to be much more ethereal, potentially allowing only for the transmission of ideas and knowledge rather than a physical component. Now, while the Great One's wisdom grants more insight than a Madman's knowledge, this seems to be simply due to some skulls containing more phantasms than others. The question is then, how did the phantasms come to inhabit these skulls? And the answer seems to lay in the very nature of the phantasms, for it is said that these strains of creatures are parasitic and will infest human eyeballs. Considering that scholars state that one must line their brain with eyes to realise the Eldritch truth, it seems a quite literal turn of phrase, as gaining insight is known to cultivate the growth of eyes in the brain. It can be supposed that the more insight an individual gains, the more parasitic phantasms they possess due to the amount of eyes within their skull, thus the more knowledge that can be gained when those phantasms are used as an augur to the Great Ones. Some individuals who have garnered a great deal of insight even comment that they feel something writhing within their brain, likely the invertebrates themselves. Naturally, the subject containing the original insight must be dead for the knowledge to be collected, but it is odd that not only do the phantasms persist after death, but all skulls containing them are cracked open. This could possibly indicate that the phantasms consume the brain of the victim before burrowing out of the skull to consume the rest of their body. It is known, after all, that phantasms regularly congregate and feed on corpses, and parasitic variants may be no different. While it may be that the presence of parasitic phantasms within the eyeballs just happen to provide a gateway of sorts to the source of cosmic knowledge, it must be considered that the only reason one would want to line their brain with eyes in the first place is to simply attract the invertebrates so that they may infest the eyes and provide a perpetual portal through which the infinite truth can be glimpsed. Whichever of these processes may be correct, or even if the truth is something that hasn't even been considered, the use of Madman's knowledge or Great One's wisdom remains the same, in that the knowledge that was once possessed by the dead is transferred to the living, taking them one step closer to elevating to a higher plane. Considering that these items allow a glimpse at universal truth, you'd think they would be extremely important. And while they are valuable items, they do get overshadowed, not to mention the fact that there are a relatively large amount of them if you know where to look. If encountered anywhere else, then they would have a much higher rating. But considering the kind of items that can be found around Yharnam in the middle of the hunt, Madman's knowledge and Great One's wisdom can be seen as rather quaint. Therefore, they have both been assigned an artifact rating of remarkable. Only in Yharnam could you find a literal portal to the very thoughts of the outer gods, and it's still far from the weirdest thing you'll see on any given day, especially when people are turning into werewolves, giving birth to slugs, and summoning atrocities of the flesh from the literal friggin' moon. Anyways, please subscribe for more course content, and become a patron or channel member to support the lecture series. Now, have a great day, and if a Great One tries to communicate with you, just pretend to be out.